Hey guys, and thanks for stopping by. In this video I'm going to go through the S.H.Figuarts Avengers Infinity War Thanos figure. Now this is a little bit old, it came out sometime last year, but I was just a bit dilly-dallying, you could say, to open this. But I'm going through them because Endgame is coming out, so I thought this is a good time to go through much of the Infinity War S.H.Figuarts figures that have been sitting by me waiting to be opened. So here is the figure itself in its box with a window display which displays the figure, and then the two extra heads that come with it, and then the gold foil for Thanos and his Infinity Gauntlet, and then a photograph of him as well. This is not really a photograph of the figure, but more painted artwork for this figure. So basically it's in line with the rest of the Infinity War figures so far. On the side then is just a photograph of Thanos himself, and then the logos. Moving on to the reverse side is actual photography of the figure. So you can see you get the Infinity Gauntlet, and then you get a couple of different hands. You do get a finger snapping hand with this, and then on the other side is just some text and logos. Top is not much, and the bottom is more of the same. So let's get this thing open. He's pretty tall, by the way, but yeah, let's get him open. And here he is, the Mad Titan himself, finally unboxed. So he comes with some optional hands, optional heads, and you can see he's a pretty hench figure. I'm going to put him side to side next to Iron Man, which I've got right on the side, unlike Spider-Man and Captain America, who are not on the side, but he is a pretty hench figure overall. So let me quickly show you the extra parts that he comes with. So of course he comes with his Infinity Gauntlet, but with that he comes with two additional hands. So one of these hands then is this one, which is a relaxed, well, not really relaxed, but an open palm, let's just say. It's got a nice metallic gold finish to it. The gems look really, really nice, or Infinity Stones if you want to call them this for this one. They look really nice. I especially like the blue one. That looks great. I can't remember if that's a Soul Stone for MCU, but yeah, the blue one looks really good. And then it's got the details on the fingertips and around each socket of the gem too, especially the main one on the back of the palm. So it's pretty cool looking. Then this one is actually just a relaxed open palm. And then he's got the fist that's attached to him by default. Now he doesn't come with a finger snapping attachment on this hand. It comes on the other hand for some reason. I never really found out the reason why they did it for S.H.Figuarts, why it's on the bare hand. Maybe because it made more sense, or maybe that's what they were told to do whenever they made this figure. But this is a regular hand, then using the regular skin tones, which is more of a purplish, bluish. I'm not sure how you would describe it. Everyone sees colors differently, but it's purpley blue to me. But it looks nice. This is a large figure, so his hands are actually larger than most average size figures that are like 15-16 centimeters. But you got the finger snap right there. Then he comes with an open palm, like so. Now I noticed a while back some people complaining about the lack of shading or wash on this figure. It kind of shows on the hands so far. I like the molding and sculpting of everything, like the actual way this is made, like detail so far on the hands, and of course the figure too, which I'll get to, is quite good. But yeah, you can kind of see the lack of shading in certain areas. Then onto the heads. So you can see the original head that's there, and then he comes one where he's giving you that villainous smirk. I personally like the heads that have been included with this figure. I think the molding and sculpting on this, and the detail on this is pretty good. His eyes, like, it might be hard to see, but they kind of work really well. Very deep set eyes. I really like where they're going with them. It's like white and like very, very, very bluey, like light blue. Like it's super hard to see the blue, but I think they work great. And then you've got the wrinkly chin, which Thanos is it's his iconic chin, you could say. And then his bold slap head. But I really like that head. Or the head. Here's the other one then with his gritting teeth. He's got big teeth, and they're painted decently too. I just like it. This one's pretty good too. You can see with the detail, with the scrunched eyes, and the extra wrinkles around the eyes too, and then around the nose area. Looks really, really good. Again though, some people did complain about the lack of shading on them. So there have been some custom mods out there that look fantastic with the additional wash. Now then, onto the figure. Because I think I'm going to forget some of the issues, because I end up liking a lot of the stuff with a lot of figures that I forget to point out the issues. So I'm going to quickly do the issues first before showing the full detail of the figure. Number one, his leg comes off a little bit easily, which I'll get to with the articulation, so I shouldn't forget that one. But in terms of paint, you will see some scraping right here and here. The instruction pamphlet does tell you that is going to happen. This happens as you articulate the figure and raise its legs. So that's a bit of a grievance. There was another issue now which I've actually forgotten, but that is the main one. Color can also come off from his collars as you turn his head left and right, but that is one of the main issues that I want to just point out right now before I get into detail. So now for the detail of the figure, here we go. So here is the default attachments on him. So default fist, default head. Now this is just his stoic face, which looks kind of a little bit like sad in a way, but I like it. It's good detail again. Overall, in terms of face, I would say the best face, in my opinion, is this one. But all three faces are really good, so I don't really have anything to complain about with those, minus perhaps the shading. But I think otherwise it looks really good. Job well done with that. He's got cool suit on. He's got texture material on his top, as you can see, and then kind of metallic finish on the gold area, the gold trims, and then the black too. Of course, the gauntlet. This is a full gauntlet now, rather than just the hands. So it's got all the detailing around there. Again, some people might complain that there's not enough wash or shading going on there, which I would have to agree with. It's a little bit plain once you start looking at the figure itself. So you can see around the arms. There's a little bit here around his shoulders, but I think a lot of fans kind of expected a lot more going on with him. Or in fact, they might not have necessarily been happy with the color tone of his skin. I personally don't think it's that bad. I think it's okay. I think a lot of it depends really on your own display setup. So if you've got it in like a dimly lit, not super dim, but not like full on light glaring at it, then it should actually look fine. But yeah, moving down then. So as I mentioned, you've got the paint scrape there, but otherwise it's textured pants. Not really sure what, it's not probably going to be leather since he's from a different planet, so it's probably the equivalent of leather, but you've got the detail with the lines etched in on his thighs. Then onto his boots, same sort of paintwork that applies to his belt, and then his collar. I like the boot details here, which again look a bit more like a faux leathery or plastic leather sort of look. I think that looks pretty good. And detailing down towards the ankle. And on the reverse side, same sort of stuff going on. I'm now going from bottom to top. So yeah, overall he looks pretty good. Minus those little defects that are going to happen. It's guaranteed. So yeah, not so bad, not so bad. Onto articulation then. So his head can move up, but just so I should point this out too. So when you move his head left and right, his neck can sometimes get stuck a little bit. So just move it back and then bring him back there. So let me try and show you articulation in this state. Head down is very good. Head up is very good. I pushed it a bit more, and then you start seeing the gap. But like you saw, the neck does move with it. So you see there. I think it's just the joint is a little bit stiff on my one so far. In terms of tilt, he can, but it's a little bit stiff just for now. But be careful again, as I mentioned earlier on, you can get paint coming off of the collars there. They will stop him from moving too far left and right. Onto his shoulder, you can bring his shoulder up and around, and you can bring him out, drop him down too. So he's got that full range of motion of up and down 360. When you do bring him down, for both sides, the black part of his sleeves come undone. So I'll show you that here too, like so. And you just pop them back when you want to reset the shoulders. There's no twist at the bicep per se. And then the elbow, you can do that, and then he's got pretty nice looking muscles. I have to say, I think the sculpt is pretty good. The joint there is a little bit off color compared to the rest, or difference in color even compared to the rest of his skin tone. Then for his wrist, so his wrist can twist, and it can go like that. This one is actually using an interesting one, which I've not seen in the figures I own. This you can actually extend outwards like so, and then that gives him even more reach. Now that was something that I didn't quite expect and didn't know that it was included in this figure, but I like that. I think it's a pretty cool addition, a pretty cool engineering work for figures. I think more figures could potentially use it. My only concern is then that if I do that and I want to change the hand, well, I haven't done that yet, so let's see how that goes. Then moving on to other points. So we've got the crunch right here, which is not a lot, to be honest. So there we go, just there, and then leaning backwards around that much. Just kind of show you the backside too. So not a lot. Leaning left and right is actually a lot more. It's possible though that my joints are still a bit stiff, so perhaps work with it. I feel like this is where you're going to get a little bit of paint. I think the instruction leaflet also says that too. Paint will come off around here too, similar to as I mentioned on the thigh. Lower twist. It's quite tight for me right now, but it can happen and it exists. Then for the leg, this is where one of the problems comes back again. So he does have pull down on the legs, like so, and then that gives him extra range of motion. But remember, this is where you start seeing the lines because it starts hitting his groin, and that's where the paint defects will occur. It's guaranteed to happen, but just so you know. Now, this leg is fine. I deliberately showed you this one because his left leg is the one that I find that pops off a lot more easily. So you can twist here also, by the way. But if I try doing this with this one, I can't really do it much, and then it just pops off. Well, it usually does. It hasn't done. Oh yeah, it has. So here it's done it. But you can see the twist has occurred a little bit, but it just comes off a little bit easily. But you can hear it snap back into place. I'll show you. There we go. So even if I want to pull it down a bit, it works, but I have to be use a bit more resistance as I do it, so the leg doesn't keep popping off. So it happens a lot more frequently on this leg. I haven't had it happen to me on the right leg just yet. Then moving on to the knee, you can bend like so. That's a pretty good bend anyway, but the joint was squeaky. I think it's just a bit tight, but I liked how the joint was also kind of like etched there, if you can see. Then onto the ankle. So he's got movement there, pivoting there. Not too much in terms of leaning backwards because of the boot. But he can lift up his foot up until that point. And then he's got the pivot right there. So that covers his articulation. He's actually not the most complex of figures out there. But he's just a very large figure. Just because the character is a bigger character compared to the rest of the cast. But yeah, so you can see some of the points that I've pointed out where it might be an issue. So check your one anyway if you've got it. You may have the same issue, maybe worse, may not be as bad. But yeah, let's change his head then. Just pop off his head like so. And I'll put on the teeth because it's very different. And there you go. You hear it click into place. Yeah, new head. Then we can change his right hand. The right hand, by the way, doesn't have the extend. It's just regular. So just pull the right hand off, and then let's give him the clicking hand. They should click back into place as well. There we go. Didn't click so much, but it looks like it's on. There we go. This joint is a bit tight right now. His wrist joint is pretty thick actually, so hopefully it should stand a good wear of time. Then let's change the gauntlet hand because that's the one that I haven't done yet, and I'm curious how that will work out. So let's just pull it. Okay, it's come off easily so far. My worry is then that when you do that, here you can see this split. Now on other figure brands, this split is not that great. It can usually just come undone very quickly. So that's going to be my concern in the long run. But I'm not going to change his hands too much in the long run anyway. But for those of you that will, well, leave a comment below, see how it goes. Let's give him then this hand. Same thing, just plug it back in. Yeah, and that goes in very easily. See how it extends? It extends back out easily as well. And then again, you get the extra range of motion, so you can pretty much touch his elbows, shoulders with that hand. Shame we can't do that with the other one, but there you go. So that's basically Thanos. Then comparing him to Iron Man in terms of size. So here is Iron Man, and Iron Man is tiny in comparison. Iron Man was what, 15, 16 centimeters. Thanos is around 19.5 centimeters. So he's a good deal bigger compared to Iron Man. Which you expect. You don't want a tiny Thanos. I mean, these figures should be pretty much scaling together properly. So yeah, that's the size and that's the articulation and that's Thanos in a nutshell. Overall then, in my opinion, he's an okay figure. I think because I paid for him at retail, I'm not that disappointed with him. I think if you're paying resale price for him, which is what you're paying right now when you see this video today, he's very expensive now. And I don't know if he's really going to be that worth it, especially once you take him out of the box and start fiddling with him, because these paint issues are going to be they're obvious right now. So yeah, it's really going to be down to you as a personal opinion. But overall, I got mine for retail from CDJapan or NipponYasan, one of those two. It's an okay figure. Kind of hope they would have done the finger snapping one on this hand, but there's probably a good reason for it. But he's okay. I know I can see why some people complained in terms of the skin tone and this lack of shading, but it also works for me at the same time. I'm not that heartbroken or disappointed by it. I think it's okay. I think it's a serviceable figure. It's an okay figure for 8,000 yen. It's okay. It's okay. I mean, it's pretty much what you pay for giant, bigger size figures. But anyway, if you haven't got yours, hopefully you were able to pre-order the Endgame Thanos, which I know at this point has sold out in most places too. But that's Endgame, Infinity War Thanos. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you do check out my channel for more S.H.Figuarts figures, not just on Infinity War, but I will also be covering Endgame S.H.Figuarts as soon as they come out too. Thanks for watching, everyone. Take care of whatever it is you're doing, or wherever it is that you are. Stay safe out there. Peace out.